Now my truck, if you'll notice, if you hit automatic, it'll go all the way down. It stops on its own. Well, when I rolled the window down one day, it went down and popped like a shotgun. Just by experience, I know that it either broke the cable or one of the rollers or one of the window track bolts come loose. And just what I expected, it had rusted and broke the cable in two. On this side, it had been going on for a long time. The window wouldn't move. In this video, I'm going to show you how to take the door panels off. Both door panels are exactly the same thing, so it doesn't matter which side you're on. Now we get to take our trim fork, pop up under here, and we're open and go. What I'm going to do is go ahead and pull the panel off. It's easier. This panel is not hard to pull off anyway. I'm going to go ahead and pull the panel off, check my electrical at my motor. In order to unplug our switch, this right here, if you'll look, it'll push up. Got a little tongue underneath it. Connector. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take this panel the rest of the way off. I've took these panels off plenty of times, so it's really not hard to do. Sometimes you might want to MacGyver it. I find a good steel fork helps. Because you don't want to pry from the bottom because it's got a tab there and you'll just break it off. Next we'll get rid of this lock button. It's got a little thing on each side. It's pretty easy to take off. If you don't, when you go to lift the door up, you'll bend that. Door handle trim. Little clip there and another lock there. So once you pop it out, then you pull this out, just slide that out like that. Now then, that's pretty much it. We got a 7 here and a 7 right at our door handle. Now this upper 7 is a little longer than the other one. This plug lifts up back here and pulls off. Be careful, get you. Now I do know that there's a tweeter right here, and we'll want to unplug it. That tweeter is mounted on the door where your other speaker's not. And there's your tweeter wire on your door pull and push up. Now that thing will slide right out. Everybody's unhooked. Now I'm going to take something and remove this little blue clip, and you want to gently pry back on it. If you look, you rotate it forward, then that'll lift that up. That keeps it from falling off. Number 10 bolt. Now the door handle just slides forward, unlatches, get rid of my sound deadener. Now I'm going to temporarily reconnect my switch and turn the ignition back on. What's weird is you can actually hear the motor moan just a little bit or scream. That tells me it's getting power down there. I'm showing 6 volts. So I may have let my battery run down on my car. I'm going to first, before I condemn the circuit, I want to make sure that I've got full 12 volts. So I'm going to put a charger on it and we'll come back and test it again. Now we check it with the battery charger on there. I think the battery is about dead. Now let's see what kind of voltage we got. Now look at there, 12.8, positive, negative. Now that motor's definitely bad. Another thing, if you like to, you can take and hook this up to your battery and just see how bright it is. You should get the same brightness down here than you would up there. All right, we know the motor's bad, so we can replace it. Now we're going to remove the 4 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. This side, you got the same on the other side. In order to remove this motor, you got to remove the regulator, and you know your regulator is wore out just as bad as the motor is. So I bought this a couple of years ago and give $25 for two of them, or $25 a piece for two of them. I put a little tape up here to keep the window from dropping. My tent is going bad, so you gotta watch out for that too. So if you got good tent, new tent, you don't want to put no tape on it. Now if you look right here, we got a little clip, or a little hanger is what it is. With the rear window, you got the same thing in the rear, and see what happens. Well, that window stopped and it was rolled all the way up. Got everything kind of really tight on it, and these hooks don't want to come out. Take and just cut that little tab off there. And do the same thing over here. That metal's pretty soft. It is a pain to try to get that window, to get this track up higher than the window's already pegged out from the top. Now let's see if this track, we just slide this track out the back and then drop it down. This little jewel is tight. Now she's worked loose. Alright, that's got that. Now, if you look in here, this rubber sometimes will stick. Been there so long that it'll actually be glued to it, and in some cases somebody may glue it to it. So that's the only thing that's really holding us there. I'm not gonna worry too much about that. Now I'm gonna take, now I should have enough room to work this thing through. Everybody's disconnected. Slide the bottom in and should be able to pull it out. We're not really concerned too much about tearing this up, oh, we don't tear the door up. Now if you look in here, these are stuck to the glass. So what I'm gonna do is I've just unbolted these, and I'm gonna use the ones that's already stuck to the glass, because I don't want to take a chance on breaking my window. Now, footnote, this is for a door handle rod. If you don't watch out, it wants to fall down in there, so just make sure this is out before we go to install the new window regulator. Now that I'm ready to install the new window regulator, I'm going to put her in, put this back side in first, kind of ease this down in there. As long as we don't crimp our cables, we're good to go. And bring the front side up. Find them little clip holes. Let her hang there. We can do our back side the same way. Now I'm going to loosely install all my bolts. But make sure you get a few threads on your bolt, because if you don't, you'll cross thread it and you won't be happy. It won't be a good day then. Now I do notice here that this is not lining up. Now I don't feel like that's a problem because it just hangs anyway, but I'm just gonna put a little pressure and line it up. With all of them loose, this is not gonna be a big deal. Not gonna be a deal breaker. Now I've temporarily reconnected my switch, connected my motor. I wanna bring it up to where it starts to line up with that. Nice, easy, no big rush. May have to snug our bolts up a little bit more. Like I said, now I took the back side of this off because it's not gonna come off the window without breaking something. On the right side of that, I'm gonna put my window bolts in last because they're the best place for your adjustment. I leave all my bolts loose to make sure and get them all started first before I go and tighten everything down. Now that I've got everything started by hand, I'm gonna go ahead and run all my bolts down tight. I'll do these first because these are rubber mounted and they got more give to them. Now window bolts, I'm gonna snug them down, and what they do is just pinch. These will clamp down on that rubber and hold our window in place. You gotta make sure you don't over tighten these or you take a chance on breaking your window. Now we'll give her a test run, see how she does before we put her panels back together. I am going to add me some dry lube, I think, to the tracks. Now there's no way to clip this, so I'm going to take me a cable tie, run around that inside cable just to snug it up and keep our rattles out of it. Not touching anything, so that way we got no rattle when we're riding up and down the road. I usually won't take my sound in there all the way off because it helps you line up all the little holes. Now usually I have this up when I realize that I don't have the door handle lever push rod in, so keep that in mind, and all your harnesses, and just taper in whatever spots is hanging loose. This ain't much, but it'll help keep your wind noise down. It does make a good difference on that. And in the wintertime, it kind of keeps it insulated as well. When you go to put your door handle on, make sure your lever is up above, because it's kind of, you'll have to take it back off if you don't. And then you're going to make sure your little catches is there. Slide her back. Drop that down in there. You can snap her in place and put your number 10 bolt back in. I like to hand tighten where you can feel. If you're really comfortable with your impact tools, then you can do just as well. We'll make sure our lever works. Everything's exposed. Our rear light, our harness, our tweeter. Now we're ready for our door panel. It's not too hard to line up, but make sure that you got your tweeter and your door switch harness sticking out. It looks pretty good. Push on a little bit, pull down on it. Now see, if you look here, somebody has pulled this panel off without pulling this door lock lever off. So I'm going to take and bend that down, level it up. I know this is thicker plastic, so the longer one goes in the top, and of course the shorter one goes in the lower one. Right here at your handle pull. If you get it upside down, it'll only go one way. Got to cut out for your actual lever. Alright, tweeter, window switch, if you look at right there, it lines up with the top of that. Door handle cover, slide that front end, make sure that all the lineups is made. Go ahead and get our door light. Tuck that in the front, snap the back in. One more piece, our corner trim. Tuck it in from the top. Pull down. I like to pull down on it and gives you a tight seal. Now let's try her out and see how she does. In most cases, it's a window motor. It's hardly ever the switch, but sometimes, you know, it could be.